TLoC.
Okay. So, for everybody who's listening, can you all just introduce yourselves? I'm sure most of people will know already, but still.
All right, my name is Tanveer Khan. I'm from the Design and Technology Department. And this is my colleague.
Hi, my name is Cheng. I'm from D&T department. I'm D&T technician.
Okay. So my first question was actually about the subject. What do you think separates design and technology from all the other sciences which are there for IB and IGCSE? Like, what makes it unique?
I think the most important thing about design tech is it's not like a fixed science. It's a creative science. So you don't have like fixed answers like in maths, physics. Of course, there's one paper which is graphics, graphic products, where you've got techniques, and then there's another paper on design, which really you apply your creative thinking skills. So there's no fixed solution to any questions, and I think students really get to exercise their creative thinking and critical thinking process.
Between like the design paper and the drawings paper, which one's your favorite? Like both to like do the questions or like mark the questions?
Oh, marking the design paper is a headache because everybody's got a different answer. There's no real marking scheme. While marking the graphics paper is really easy. There's a marking scheme.
Okay.
It's either correct or wrong.
But like in terms of questions, do you think the design paper is more interesting?
The design paper is more interesting. It's more interesting in terms of variation of questions, variation of answers. So you see students giving different types of answers, which can be very wild sometimes and very creative, because they're actually coming up with solutions to a problem, while the other one has fixed answers. So you sort of expect to see the same kind of answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In design and technology, like the subject, there's always a coursework component. So like people can build some sort of actual product. What's the most interesting products that y'all have seen or like had to like help out a student with?
Interesting product. I think one of the products that was interesting is the your product was interesting actually. One because yours was a standing. I remember it was a laptop holder used while standing.
Yes.
So yeah, it's something that's very uncommon, and I remember that was the your fourth idea or third idea after we canceled the first three, or you're like you got into trouble. No, I can't do this because you always went for wild ideas. I mean, it's really hard to solve problems.
I finished it in the end.
Yeah, you finished it, but you finally got your problem chosen like 6 months into the deadline, and should have been done much. But anyway, you ended up with a good grade.
Okay.
So that was interesting, that you actually managed to get through with getting an A star, and choosing a very unique problem. What other problems, Mr. Cheng? Do you remember any other ideas that was really interesting?
I think there's the white. The glass.
The wine glass.
White glass.
No, I think Mika Mehta's one. Mika Mehta, where she stores wine glass and normal glasses, and there is a separation. And there's also a water a container to hold the water that drips down.
That one is more complicated structure.
More complicated. There's a lot of critical measurements to be taken. And that John's project was also interesting because it's a wine pourer. And because what happened was that in his mock-up he tested it with an apple cider bottle, smaller size than an actual wine bottle. So it didn't actually work out perfectly. The concept was good, but there was a lot of learning points, that you've got to actually take the right measurements and stuff like that, and a lot of ergonomics as to how you're gonna actually pour the wine in order to reduce the torque.
I think like in making all this stuff, especially for the wood related products, there's a lot of like different machines which you have to use. Right?
There are a lot of different machines, but the laser cutter has actually eased our job of
purification process.
Of the machining process, especially those hand machining where you've got to actually push the wood through.
There's like a
Right.
picture on the Facebook page of Lion's Food for the both of y'all with the craft laser.
Yeah, that was once. That was almost just after we got it, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Doing installation.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite machine then? What are your like favorite machines in the DT lab?
I think without the laser cutter machine, you guys wouldn't have finished your projects. 'Cause
Yeah, 100%.
I think Mr. Cheng would agree, right?
Correct.
That-
because a lot of dimensions we need to precise cutting out.
Correct,
So
yeah.
that the two parts can be joined together. Yeah.
Correct.
In terms of especially for the circle part and
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of curvature part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't cut very precisely using the bandsaw or scroll saw machine.
Yeah.
Laser cut just good that we just input the CAD file insert into it, then you can cut precisely. Yeah.
Like the tolerances now.
Yeah, tolerance is small.
So yeah, it just cuts down like 80% of the work sometimes, depending on what your project is.
The craft laser is the MVP here.
Which one? Yeah, the craft laser. So it's good that we managed to convince the management to get one,
Yeah.
just in time.
I think if anyone has been in like Mr. Khan's class, you've 100% mentioned Australia before.
Australia, yeah, because I taught there for 4.5 years, and yeah, it was pretty interesting actually. It's very different. I mean, we've only got like one exam at the end of the year and like 4 exams throughout the year here. And the kids learn through practical experience, through smashing cars and opening up, vehicles and stuff like that. Yeah, they actually learn through practical experience, and we've got the time, the luxury of time to do that.
Okay.
Here, you're always struggling to finish the syllabus before, SA1, UT1, Prelim 1, Prelim 2. So, yes, and down there exams don't really matter that much in Australia unless you're sitting for the year 12 exams.
Okay.
Every other exam, even if you score 0, you still promote to the next level. In Melbourne, I'm not sure about other countries,
So like lower
other
stakes.
cities. So yeah, they're not so punishing.
From the non-academic point of view, what's your favorite parts of like Australia? Like just in general.
Oh, I like the Great Ocean Road. You heard of that, the Great Ocean Road? Where
No,
you,
no.
you basically drive up the mountain. It's a winding road, and you can see the ocean on your left. Yeah,
Do you have any interesting Australian stories? Because every Australian person I know
yeah.
has like wild stories from what happened there.
Almost banged into a kangaroo while I was driving. Yeah, I was going to from Melbourne to Ballarat, and almost drove into a kangaroo. I think just 1 second, just saved by a second. Kangaroos tend to be blind. They're not blind, but somehow they don't look at what's coming. They just hop on to the street. So, yeah, probably saved the kangaroo, maybe saved ourselves, because a lot of drivers, they actually end up in fatal accidents because the kangaroos are really big and they impact the momentum when you hit the kangaroo. You might get your windscreens smashed and you might not survive if you're going at high speed, especially.
No, scary.
Pretty scary. Yeah.
Mr. Cheng, have you ever been to Australia?
One time, I think 10 years back, I think.
Oh, okay.
In Melbourne also, same as Mr. Khan.
Okay.
When we go out with my family, yeah, and my little daughter when just born, about 3 years old. Yeah. So just for the science, scenery viewing, yeah.
It seems fun. I don't think I've been to Melbourne at least. I don't know if I've been to Australia at all. Yeah, I should. I will visit one day. I will see the
You
Great
should.
Ocean Road.
You should, and try and understand the accent.
I don't think I'll be able to
Especially
understand.
the
We are not used to it. Like after 5, it's all shop is closed down.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
it gets-
It's compared to Singapore,
Yeah, it
it's
gets very
difficult to find
isolated.
some food.
5 p.m. everything's
Yeah,
closed.
5 p.m. is almost shop is closed.
I think in like last week's episode, which was with Mr. Bhatt, he said even in New Zealand it's the same thing. Like 5 p.m. everything is closed down.
Everything's closed, yeah. Because
The living
even the
style is
shop
different.
stuff, you gotta finish work at 5. I think they work office hours. Except there's a late night shopping day. It's normally on a Friday.
Oh, there's like a specific
Yeah,
day
yeah,
for
and
everything.
it's open up to 9, not 10. It's open up to 9 o'clock.
Oh.
And cafeterias, coffee places would close at 5 also, 4:30. But they open really early. One thing about Australia is shopping malls open about 9.
Oh.
Cafes open at 7. Like here, you'd see most cafes opening about 8:30, right? Down at 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m. because they close early, so they open early as well. And they're early sleep. They sleep early. Australians, they sleep by 9. So 9 o'clock you come out the door, all the lights are off, and they wake up really early.
Not the IB students.
Yeah.
I don't know a single IB student with a normal sleep schedule.
Yeah, exactly. You guys probably reach home at 9 after.
Yeah. Wait, there is a DT club, right? Like a DT ECA.
DT, yeah, there is. That's part of the inter-house competition. Although we don't have a competition as such. Yeah, so it's during that IC period where there are different clubs going on, and basically we don't let them use the those machines that cut resistant materials like the scroll saws and drilling machine, because these are junior students and we've got big numbers coming in. So Mr. Cheng, especially lately in the last since the last year, we've actually got materials pre-cut. So Mr. Cheng would cut up pre-cut like acrylic, wood, and they basically choose in different forms. They will choose and then join them to make furnitures and stuff like that. But still, there is a lot of ideation going on. We try and follow the design process, and they come up with the architectural plan for the. It's supposed to be they're supposed to design a student lounge, yeah.
Oh yeah, they had done some like hexagon shaped like building or something last year, right? I remember in the assembly it was there.
Yeah.
Like styrofoam.
I think that you see that thing on top beside the wine pour that John made. Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming the listeners can't see it.
Yeah, the listeners can't see it. Yeah.
But
so yeah, if you can see it, if you want me to bring it down, then I'll just.
I can like put a photo up.
Vividly.
Yeah.
I think this was the winning project. I'm just saying this was the one we chose.
Yeah, we choose.
For the listeners, I'll put like a photo of it on the screen right now.
I'll try to make it. Put a photo on the screen. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is student lounge, and it's even got a mini golf. I mean, not a golf course as such, but it's like practicing your shooting in a small hole there, and then you can shoot in the golf ball inside. And yeah, it's like TV lounge in there. And this staircase climbs up to nowhere, but it's you probably
it's like a single floor.
No, it's not a staircase. Sorry, it's supposed to be sitting area so that you can watch.
Yeah, sitting area.
It's like a mini theater.
Yeah, mini.
Oh, it's like the bleachers, I guess.
Yeah.
Those like huge stairs. I mean, if that's the size of the table.
That's why they need to learn about the ratio.
Yeah.
You know.
Like the table size.
Yeah, table size.
Sitting gallery, and this is this should be like a library, mini library.
Yeah.
So you got to go through the door.
So they need to learn what is the space allocation for different purpose.
Yeah. So they do that in the beginning. Come up with a scale.
The planning of the
planning.
Of the plans.
So most of the materials are cut, except the styrofoams they cut on their own. Styrofoam, cardboards. We have some of these laminated
adhesive
laminations where you can take out the backing and paste it on top of materials. Yeah. So some of these materials, I think like stones, they got it.
Yeah, we bought it.
We had stones.
We provide. Yeah.
Yeah. So we learned from a mistake the first year where we just let them cut. Yeah. So that's about it. And now they've got a design and engineering club as well, which runs during the off-peak periods when there's like no exams and so they're working. They learn different stuff. They had one of the things they learned was how to use Arduino, which I think you know how to use as well. Yeah. So I send them some worksheets that they can do and some slides as well, and they basically use that as a reference. And they learn some of the stuff as well, coding.
I think you went to the University of Ireland, right, for your
UC University College Dublin, Ireland. Yeah, University of Ireland, correct.
How was the experience there?
So that was in Singapore.
That was in Singapore?
In Singapore, yeah. So I didn't actually go in there. It's Singapore campus.
Oh, so how was it? Yeah. Was it like this thing?
So it was through Kaplan. And the lecturers came down, if I can remember, once a term, one full weekend, like 12 hours. We had to go down and attend the workshops.
Oh.
So yeah.
That's interesting.
It's 1.5 years program. That wasn't engineering, that was finance.
So, Mr. Cheng, you also went to NTU. So I would have also been to Singaporean University.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the listeners like there's a good chance he'll go to Singapore for university because they are studying in Singapore as well.
Yeah.
Is there any like advice you would give to people who are going to Singapore for university? Like anything they should keep in mind?
The course, the module is quite a lot, so they really need to spend a lot of time to catch up with all the different modules, like from engineering topic as well as also the human resource topic. So it's a lot of competition among the students.
Oh yeah.
So it's quite fun also because there are also a lot of activities involved to develop the student thinking, the student knowledge, as well as the student leadership. So if you can go to the top university in the world, it's good that you explore more different type of technology because they have advanced machines, advanced equipment for students to explore their views and learn. So that you can apply the knowledge when you finish your degree. You can go to the world with different kind of knowledge and different standard of the technology in your mind, to follow the trend itself.
Actually, if not for DT, what do you think, like if not for this, like the DT and like DT technician or DT teacher, what do you think you would have liked to do? Like what other careers in this field?
What would I like to do? Probably be an engineer, I guess.
Okay.
Or focus on design. Yeah.
I'm guessing not an electrical engineer.
Not electrical, like mechanical design. Because my specialization was design, mechanical engineering, and specialized in design. And that specialty only came on like 1 year before I joined. So I was interested in design, so I thought, okay, since you've got
design and technology.
Design and mechanical engineering combined, so I might as well do that. And now mechanical engineering, even when I was there, it was called mechanical and production engineering. Now it's called mechanical and aerospace engineering.
Oh.
Yeah. It's no longer
new field.
Yeah, it was. Mr. Cheng, was it mechanical and production? Yeah, it's no longer mechanical and production. So they also got in aerospace and they do design of vehicle systems. So and they've got simulation. Aircraft simulation systems in there as well.
I think even in the military they have like similar aircraft simulation kind of things, right? Like, I remember I always see the Singapore like recruitment posters. They have like the aircraft simulation, Navy simulation
Navy,
things.
the Navy,
And what about you, Mr. Cheng? Like, what other careers could you think of?
I like cooking actually.
Cooking.
But maybe if let's say I'm not in engineering field, I will go, in cuisines, become a chef, Because this is also involve your creativity,
Right.
You're using your new idea to come up with a product in terms of different form. The engineering is a product, but in chef, right, is a food, different food. So to present your idea, your thinking, and I like cooking. That's why. Let's say I'm not in engineering form.
Any like favorite dishes to make or have? Because I think even Siddharth in the first episode said that he likes like just cooking in general. Both Siddharth and Sushmita's ma'am said that they liked cooking. So maybe it's like a known engineer thing.
Currently there's a fusion food, right? Fusion.
Yeah.
So they're using the new technology, even though 3D printer, to print out the different kind of food using 3D printer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And we also apply some scientific way to create your own food. So I like cooking. Mostly it's Chinese food.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. You can apply different kind of technology in your Chinese food cooking.
I think there's a lot of physics in cooking as well. Like the whole, also a lot of chemistry, but just in general, like checking the exact temperature is like conducting an experiment almost.
Yeah.
Then the thermal conductivity of the pot that you're using.
Especially you're cooking
and all
the
that
beef,
stuff.
right? You need to certain temperature with different,
Like the rare, well done.
Rare, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the
medium
rare,
rare.
done, well done, this kind of, standard of the beef. Yeah.
And actually, that way, I think there could be like a DT product, right? Like making like a pot or like a kitchen-related thing. I know there was somebody who did the like cooking for the blind thing. Somebody was
No,
like,
I mean cutting board.
Cutting
Yeah,
board,
cutting board.
Yeah, Tavisha, was
Yeah.
it Tavisha did cutting board, not for the
No,
blind,
not
but
Tavisha, it's another-
Tarun's
yeah,
IB project was cutting board for one-handed
yeah, one-handed
people, yeah,
disability,
who
yeah.
somehow couldn't use one hand, only had one hand to
Hmm.
cut. So cut and store at the same time, just using one hand. Yeah. Cooking, so like pots and stuff. I haven't had a student design the cooking pot, but it would be interesting. I remember I showed you a scamper idea where
Yeah.
there was a pot and then a pour, this
Pourer,
Like the
the-
lid.
pourer,
Pourer.
yeah, with the
strainer, right? Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
strainer,
the strainer
the
thing as
strainer.
well. So
Strainer.
yeah, I meant, but nobody actually took up those ideas to work on. But
No.
it would be interesting to come up with an interesting design for.
if there are any like 10th graders listening, they can use it for IB.
Yeah, maybe after they listen to this, maybe.
I don't know if there are any 8th graders listening, they can use that for their coursework.
Yeah.
I think soon they're gonna have to start submitting their coursework, right? Or have they already submitted?
Yeah, they've submitted the second final draft. So the first round of marking for all 7 criterions have been done. So they're actually faster than your batch because
Huh.
every batch is becoming faster and faster.
Are they
maybe
better
because
than
I'm,
our
huh?
Are they better quality than our batch?
It's hard to say. I think your batch was really good. Yes. This batch we have quite a few students who are really, really high performing.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
The Siddharths of their batch.
Yeah, so they could be like a few Siddharths this year. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping, it's like, yeah, every batch I maybe because they get examples from your batch, so they've got good examples to follow, right? And then they try and better that. And also, I think as I'm teaching, I get to refine my methods. I get to improve on my resources.
Yeah.
So I think basically we've got advantages as we move on from one year to the next. And then Mr. Cheng also has better hands-on experience, and he learns from previous years' experience, like how to better form things and stuff like that. So we get to know shortcuts basically and different better methods of doing things.
I think something that's really important for DT in general
Yeah.
is like safety. Like
Yeah.
whenever you're doing it. Have you ever had like a safety incident at like NPS or even like in Australia when you taught?
Australia, there was a lot of potential for safety issues, a lot of potentials, but somehow, I didn't have any student cutting their fingers or anything like that. But in a previous school where I taught, in a government school, there was a student who had a part of the finger
Oh yeah.
chipped skin, like quite a fair bit of skin actually chipped off while using the sander, the disc sander. So the finger got really close and then got into the gap and then and she was bleeding all the way as
Oh, God.
we took her to the
Ew.
hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's just in general. Whenever you're working with any of the stuff, have to use the gloves, glasses, everything.
Yeah. That's why Mr. Cheng's like very particular, and he'll really roast you if you're
Yeah.
if you're not following safety regulations, and then you're
Gotta
out
be
of the
careful.
lab workshop.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, like we're getting back to the physicsy questions. Do you think that like a physics background is important for doing DT, or just like it helps?
Physics helps at IB level, I reckon, because we've got a topic on material properties like thermal conductivity, Young's modulus, stress strain and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's just a small bit, but yeah, it does help a bit in the IB course. But in the IGCSE, I can't think of anything where physics would really play a part. Do you remember anything where physics actually there was a link to physics?
I mean, when you're doing, I guess, the mock-up, or if you're like trying to improve upon your mock-up.
The structural part.
structural
Yeah,
thing,
okay.
right.
Oh yeah, because you have to think how to make it stable.
Yeah.
You need a wide base, center of mass had to be low and stuff like. Yeah. So it was more it was more what do you call that? Latent. Like it's not obvious,
Yeah.
right? It was like you had to somehow
I guess we have a good grasp of
yeah,
physics. That's what
would
matters.
help.
When you do some of the product is related to the mechanism, movement,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
then definitely the physics help a lot.
physics
Because
and
you need to think how
engineering.
is the linkage is working so that it's applied to your product design. Yeah. So some background of the physics really help for making your own BD project.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's students who did calculations on torque,
Mm.
force times distance,
Yeah.
calculating the moment and all that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of these calculations in the folio, whether they were trying to pull a fast one or whether it was genuine. But I've seen those before. Your batch probably not as much, but I've seen those before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think pulling a fast one reminds me. I remember, like in our batch, so always one or two kids who were like try to not submit that thing on time. Like they would like purposely submit like a broken document or something. Have you ever gotten that? Have you ever?
No, I've always suspected that. Although politically I can't say that, and maybe you're trying to pull a fast one, and you tell me, oh, I didn't realize it was an empty document or that a file error, and then they got an extra day just because of that. I think that's happening. But I'm just not supposed to tell you. If I've suspected anyone of that. But I think because the frequency is more than what it should be based on probability.
Like one person has like every single file solution.
Yeah. Why is it always happening? Why is it always your files getting corrupted, or you can't get through? So it does happen, but as long as you're smart enough to get away with it.
There's this one story I remember you had told me, and I
Yeah.
think Anvesha, something like that. You had told some other DT student as well. It was when you were doing your exams, like your O levels or something like that. You had like an English exam, and you had to do a like creative writing for an earthquake. What was that about?
Oh, okay. So it was. I went totally out of point. It was actually a preliminary examination just before the actual O levels.
Okay.
So I sort of tend to go wild in my thinking. So it was supposed to be continue the story. So it was something like that. The lady was walking along the street with her expensive handbag which she just bought from this shop, and suddenly this man came and snatched the handbag from her, and and as he was running away, she yelled out loud, and other people tried to run after him and catch him. And then after that, so basically you're supposed to follow the storyline, try and find him, and it was like a chasing a thief kind of story. And I turned that into an earthquake story. And then while they were running, because I just love that idea of an earthquake, and then and things happen and things are vibrating, and it's just more dynamic,
Right.
than chasing a thief. So I said, and suddenly the earth was shaking and everybody. And the teacher called my mom, was like, see your son? I don't know what your son's doing. You ask him to talk about a cat, he talks about a dog. I mean, an analogy, right, to this thing. So I sort of tend to, change the story to my liking. I had that habit, and I think that was because I was probably quite creative, and I tend to go off track of quite a fair bit, which is probably why I end up teaching design, right?
Yeah. I think that's a good quality in design, like being able to ideate well.
Oh and then scrap a lot of the ideas that students had. That's
I think in IB, ideation is much more brutal than IGCSE because you have to come up with so many more like ideas. You have multiple mock-ups, right?
They come up with 8 to 10 ideas and 4 mock-ups.
Wow.
Yeah.
We had like 6 ideas, 1 mock-up. That was
No, but the way you guys did ideation included a lot of work. If you still remember that, yours was a bit different because
I think I ended up doing like
I gave you a shortcut.
8 ideations total.
I just told you another way to do it. But usually, like in IG, students go through a idea evolution method,
Right.
where they start with the trigger and then they slowly evolve the idea using Scamper and other techniques. But in IB, you just need to draw one idea and not how you get there.
Yeah.
So I mean, 8 ideas, just single drawings. So in that way, it's there's a compromise. I mean, it's a trade-off. It's not that difficult in that sense. But the mock-up, obviously, it's 4 times the work. And I think IB is more critical thinking, You know, you're writing exactly what you need to write. You don't overwrite. Because in IGCSE, some students like write so much. Some of them don't make sense. Some of them overwrite, you know. But you've got a word limit in IB.
Oh.
Yeah, you've got a word limit. Like, 3,000 for SL and 4,000 for HL. So you can't exceed the word limit.
Is there anybody doing a DTEE in IB?
Yeah, I had 2.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. One of them was working on ergonomics of a gaming chair, looking at the different factors and how you can differentiate the ergonomics for Asian clients or Asian consumers compared to Western consumers.
Okay.
And the other student was doing designing for discomfort versus designing for comfort. Because in at IB level, we teach designing for discomfort, where some products are intentionally designed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that it's just like fast food restaurants. They intentionally make sitting uncomfortable so that
You don't stay too long.
you don't stay too long.
Okay. That's actually a really interesting topic.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. So she actually went to 2 different restaurants, McDonald's. One which had like comfortable seating, the other one which was standard uncomfortable seating.
I feel like it's also difficult to interview people about though. Like just go up to the restaurant manager, like why are your seats so uncomfortable?
Yeah, she got people to fill up forms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, what she did, she collected data like timing. So to study if the effect for design for discomfort actually worked, your outcome would be, you know, people staying there lesser time. So she timed them.
Okay.
And the same for designing for comfort. She actually timed them. And there would be more takeaway customers in designing for discomfort because they don't want to sit in. It's not comfortable. You want to sit, go back home and sit down, watch TV and eat because you've got your comfy sofa and all that.
Yeah. I think that's why even like a lot of pizza companies, like ordering or takeaway is so much cheaper as well. Like I know like Pizza Hut, like if you eat there, it's like 20% more expensive easily. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's what, like you can use like these DT principles like a solution for a lot of things. Yeah.
You could.
I think it's your time for your meeting.
Yeah, it's time for my meeting, so I've got to go. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for the podcast. Thank you, Mr. Cheng.
TLoC.